So now you want to learn to play the
Guitar.
guitar in just a few days.
Yeah.
All right, well, here's the thing. For today, what we're going to do is work on these number patterns and learning to play melody. Now, so far we've played the major scale. There's another scale that's just as common and actually older. The major scale is really created and used a lot during the agricultural revolution around the 1700s. From about the 1600s to the 1700s, the major scale became more and more and more popular. And that's because the world went to war.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, we became a military-industrial complex. And the more war there was, the more we needed people to be able to march, right? So the more marching you needed, the more you used the major scale, because the major scale is really good for marching music.
Yeah, it's higher.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really good for soulful stuff, but it's really good for marching music. And so what happened is, the older scale that was around for about 2,000 years before that was a 5-note scale, which was the minor scale. Now the minor scale is represented on the piano by these white keys from A to A. And this is where our system, the ABC system, came from. Because we called this first note, the bottom note on the piano, A. And then B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it started over. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So you see A is in a different place. But when I do that, A, B, C, D, I get a different sound then. Alright, so from A to A, a different sound. That sound is the minor scale, and watch what happens. If I take this thing called my slider and turn it over, see where the number 1 went? See the number 1 went, jumped from here down to here? Well, now this is the natural minor scale. And as you can see now, going from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now I've got the sound of the minor scale. Now if I took those same songs and played them the same numbers, I would change the sound from marching music to a sadder, more heartfelt thing. So, Joy to the World, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 6, 6, 7, 1, 7, 6, 5, 5. Now it sounds kind of spooky. And it sounds a little Russian.
Yeah.
So if I play the same number codes with the minor scale, then what comes out instead is the minor scale. And the minor scale is more soulful, more sad. And so what if I took this melody here now, which went 1, 5, 6, 5, and played it here? As opposed to brighter, marchier, over here sadder. Yeah, it's more like Scooby-Doo or Spooky-Doo or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So now let's try something else. Let's take a simple song like Mary Had a Little Lamb. And Mary Had a Little Lamb starts in the number 3. Now you say the numbers as I play them. Exact same pattern over here in A minor, so we can hear how spooky it gets. Starts on 3. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 5, 5, 3, 2. we've done is we've changed the emotion of the scale from happy to sad, and we've used exactly the same number code. Okay. Now, the thing is the minor scale is actually the older scale, and it was around since Pythagoras first invented the 5-note scale. But they didn't use all of the notes. They only used the 1, the 3, the 4, the 5, and the 7. So they used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. And what we have is a Japanese tune.
Yeah, something like that.
Tune that goes way, way back. Turns out that, watch this. You see these black keys? If I take that number 1 and slide it over to that black key, what we call the E flat on the piano, now look at all the black keys and see what the numbers are. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. So this is the blues. If we use the 5-note minor scale, we get the blues. And the blues that we play all the time on guitar comes from this earlier minor sound, which comes from indigenous people, from Africans and Aborigines and all the backwoods people, these people who still live way out in the boondocks in the jungles somewhere. When they sing and dance, they're always expressing their emotions, and it's usually sad about what's going on. And they also use it as a way to tell their history. So the words to the songs usually are the history of the tribe. And the shaman, who's the witch doctor, he's the guy that learns all the songs, and he learns to play all these musical instruments, and that's where all the magic of music comes from. Because the shaman, who's the witch doctor, learned to sing the history of the town and play all these minor songs on these drums and stuff, and everybody would kind of copy him, and so what would happen is all this sad music would come out telling the history of the tribe. And we have a thing called question and answer, or what's called call and response, where the witch doctor would say, I love you, I do, and then everybody else would sing back, love you, I do, but you kind of bug me, and you do, but you kind of bug me, and you do. So we call those stanzas. He says something, everybody repeats it, then he gives the answer. Okay? So here's an example of that, which we call the blues. Into it a bass note. Change the bass note. Change the bass note. Go to another bass note. Not sounding like the blues. Then later on, what people do is instead of just rocking on the 1, and then going to the 4, and back to the 1, then they'd go 5, 4, 1, 5, 5. Start doing the thing over, right? So you hear that in the blues all the time. Well, instead of rocking, what if I use some of these other notes here, like the note 5 and the note 7, to make up a bass line like... bass hand, and I can play any of these black notes in any order I want. But what I have to do is first play a pattern. Repeat it. Now repeat it. Now I play a different pattern. Right? You try that. Play a pattern.
I can't.
Go ahead. It's just black note. You start on 5. You'll find that's a good note to start on. And you can go in any direction you want to. You ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Now a different pattern. And now try something else. Something else. So you see, it's not that hard. And if you were more daring, you could go. You could use all those notes really. And it really doesn't matter what order you played in, as long as you find a pattern, repeat that pattern,
Every time
and
you
then
do
change it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you find the pattern, repeat the pattern, change. Find the pattern, repeat the pattern, change. Find the pattern, repeat the pattern,
Every
change.
time you repeat, you change it.
Yeah. And what's happening in the bass to play the blues is a very fixed pattern's happening. It's 1, 1, 1, 4 ones, 4, 4, back to 1, 1, 1. So we did 2 4s and 2 1s. Then we go 5, 4, 1. Now the pattern's starting all over again. 1, 1, Got it? So there's that fixed pattern, and we call this the blues. This is the oldest scale that we know, the pentatonic minor scale, and the 5-note pentatonic minor scale gives rise to all the notes that we use in the blues.